you're angry at your the team that's against your favorite basketball team. Why are you angry? Well, you fear that your favorite team is going to lose. That's why you're angry at them. So that all anger always stems from fear, but fear always stems from attachment. You fear that your team is going to lose because you're attached to them winning. Um, and furthermore, that attachment is always caused by ignorance of true identity, and that your identity is not dependent on any of your attachments. Your identity does not depend on what your favorite team does. And once you understand that people aren't going to think of you differently because your favorite team lost, or that you are not going to think of yourself any differently, then there is no longer an attachment, and thus there is no longer a fear, and thus there is no anger. And I love that model because it works every time as far as my pattern of experience goes.
Yeah, I've found that, along the lines of the idea of knowing yourself or figuring out what you want in life, or what your meaning, or the purpose why you're here, and all of those things are like I feel like our entire society is sort of caught up in that loop in a lot of ways, in trying to figure out what the point of all of this is. And the act of trying to figure it out could be an argument that that is the point, if you're doing it now, right? So even with trying to figure out consciousness or understand consciousness, I've heard you say in the past that looking for consciousness or trying to figure out consciousness is like looking for a magnifying glass through a magnifying glass. And it's so funny to me that so many people run around almost like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to figure out what the point of all of this is, while they're it. Like,
Yeah, right.
God has confused itself into thinking that it's not God. Like, it's fascinating to see, but how pervasive it's become in our society. That mentality, like, that's, knowing yourself is the most important thing. So have you ever gotten caught up in that? And was there a point where you recognized, oh, I am myself, and if I'm trying to figure out or know myself, that implies that, there's the knower, the one that's trying to know, and the one that's being known. So maybe, there isn't two of me, but there's only one. Was there a point when you recognized that, or was it's more of a just process? Do you remember have you had any stark experiences where you're like, holy shit, like it makes more sense now?
Oh, that's a good question. Of course, life is riddled with subtle revelations that build up over time. Or rather, the revelations themselves are the deconstruction of what you have known the whole time. Um, and the more I think about it, the more it feels like I've kind of always known. I've only believed that there was a certain time where it changed, but that too is a concept. Um, and I don't know if I can pinpoint a time when something like that like really occurred to me, except for now. I can tell you that now it's really occurring to me. um, but yeah, there's a um, Alan Watts would always say, "You don't know what you want because you're it."